Well, sir, I'd like to start off by asking you your full name, please.
My full name is Alonzo P. Emerson Jr. I go by the name of Jack Emerson.
And when and where were you born, sir?
I was born in New Orleans, Louisiana.
And what year was that?
That was in 1923.
Wow. And so, how old are you now, sir?
102.
That's incredible. It's incredible. Well, could you tell me a bit about growing up during the 1920s and 1930s, please?
I grew up with a family, uh, mom and dad. I'm the oldest in the family. I have a brother and a sister.
Hmm. Could you tell me a bit about what your parents worked in growing up? What job did your father have?
We grew up in New Orleans, and mom and dad. My dad worked. My mama was a homemaker. She stayed home, raised the kids, and took care of all the cooking and everything else. And the family was real close. We loved one another. And when I was 18, graduated from high school, uh, the uh, the war was going on, uh, World War II, and I. I was 18 and I volunteered for the Army Air Corps, the Aviation Cadet Program. And I went in 1930, 38, 39, and I graduated. But before I left, it's just saying goodbye to the family when you're leaving our house. We all went down to the train station. Mom and dad, brother and sister, and me. And guess what it was? Everybody was crying. Jack's going to war. And from there, I went through the cadets program, and I graduated in class of 1944, aviation cadet class of 44. And Louis, that's my picture when I was 21 years old.
Wow. That's great to see. And you've got the same hat.
That's
Yeah.
that's the same hat. Yes, Louis.
Wow. That's wonderful. Thank you for showing me that picture. I've got some questions to ask you before we get up to you enlisting. Could you tell me what job did your father work?
My father,
Yes, what was his job at the time?
he was superintendent of labor,
Okay,
worked at the port of embarkation.
I see. And did your father serve in World War One?
No,
Okay. And could you tell me, growing up, what were some of your favorite subjects in school, or what could you tell me what games you played as a
uh,
kid?
uh, I was an average student, and failing would bring a bad reflection on the family name. So it was always a little extra push to do the right thing and advance yourself and not fail.
And how did the Great Depression impact your family?
How did the Great Depression impact your family?
Oh, we had we had food stamps. My daddy worked on the WPA, Works Progress Administration. My dad never was without a job. If we was without a job, we wouldn't have any money.
May I ask, do you remember the day that Pearl Harbor was attacked and where you were when you heard about the news?
It was December it was Pearl Harbor, and I was at my house. We heard it on the radio. We didn't have television.
So you heard it come on the radio, and
Yeah, yeah, and of course, if you went outside, you couldn't help but bring up the subject, and everybody would had a little bit to say about Pearl Harbor. And,
how did you feel
and
yourself? Did you know that you were going to serve at the time?
How did you feel, and did you know if you were going to serve?
oh, uh, I knew I would have to serve, and my knowing that I had to make a choice what what branch I want to follow, what I wanted to do, and the biggest thing I thought of is I'd rather live like an officer than an enlisted man. The quickest way for me to become an officer was to go through the cadet program, aviation cadet program, and and it satisfied my desire. Going through the cadets is they wash out one third of the class in primary, advanced, and basic training, and you were some lucky you had to be physically perfect, and you had to have a good thinking mind also, and I just I just I just had to do it, and I did it.
What was the most challenging part of the cadet training program?
Oh, everything was the link trainer, cross country flying, formation flying, night flying. You get a little bit of everything. Formation is was one of the big things. Yeah.
Could you tell me about your first solo flight and what that
Oh,
was like?
oh, oh, yeah, yeah. Uh, we had a tradition that you had a solo flight, your solo flight that day in the mess hall at noon. You stood up on a chair, flapped your arms, and said, "Hooray, hooray! I soloed today." And it was something because you got an instructor and you at this field, and he gets out the plane and he says, "Goodbye, take off." And I circled the field, made a landing. He said, "Go around again, make a landing." So I made two landings by myself. He says, "You're okay."
It's a great story.
Yeah, that's
And had
and
you wanted to fly before enlisting in the Air Corps? When you were a young boy, did you want to fly?
oh, I wanted to do that. Yeah, yeah. As a kid, we used to go out to Houston Airport, fly, watch the planes come in, land, and take off, and I thought that was amazing. Yeah, yeah.
And could you tell me, did you have any good friends that you made during your time at the flight school?
Uh, in the military, you make some real good friends. I You remember Katrina down here in August in '05, 2005, New Orleans flooded, and I flooded my house out. So I was living in Baton Rouge with a niece of mine. We had to you had to get out the house. So you get out, you bring some stuff with you, and the guy I used to fly with, Bill Erickson from Mercersburg, Pennsylvania. Uh, he sends me $2,000, and he says, "Jack, this will help you out for a while." Boy, that's a friend. There's other things too. We were Columbia, South Carolina, flying a B-25. His mom and dad came down to Columbia, says, Jack, you're not staying home. You're coming with us. So I had to go with him and his mother and dad and him himself. We went out to lunch. But that's a friend.
Wow, that's incredible. And I'd like to ask, were there any moments in during your training that you thought you would wash out or that you
What?
got close to? Or
Did you ever think during your training you would wash out?
Ooh, that's on your mind all the time. You got to prevent yourself from washing out, and you had to even links trainer and flying and the classrooms too. You had to pass exams. Yeah.
did you ever see any accidents occur while you trained?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. At those days, planes used to go out of control or some mechanical trouble or pilot error, and they would crash. But they were few. There wasn't multiple accidents like that. No.
Do you remember what planes you trained on?
I've trained on the PT-19, wooden propellers on it, open cockpits. That's it, planes. And a basic training was a BT-13 and advanced at AT-10. And from there, I went to a B-25. That was the Air Force military airplane. And if you can remember, that was a Doolittle took that B-25 from a carrier from Japan in April 1942. 4 months after the war, we bombed Japan. That that put a big question mark in everybody's head. They can do that. We got to be on our toes. So that was the first warning, and I think it worked too.
Yes. And could you tell
Yeah.
me, how did you get to piloting bombers instead of fighter planes? And how did you get to the B-25 specifically?
You're in advanced training, and you say you go from there to the military aircraft, and you had a choice, and you made a choice. That didn't mean you would get it, but you made a choice, and they saw it fit that I could go to twin engines. Twin engines is better than one engine.
And what made you choose the B-25?
Uh, I didn't have a choice. That was the program they had. They had pre-programmed a certain amount of cadets to train in B-25s. Yeah, we we were training, and we were assigned a crew, and there's 6 men on a plane, and we trained as a crew, so we all could do our job together, coordinate everything.
When was the first time you met your crew? Do you remember what year this was and where you were?
That was probably in Columbia, South Carolina, and that was in 43, 1943.
And could you tell me, what did you think of them at first, and how did you get to know them better?
Oh, you live with them from day to day, 24 hours. You get to know. I had a guy that Bill Erickson. He smoked, and smoker was a good thing back in those days. And they even gave you cigarettes. And so you meet, you play pool together at the officers club. You go to you go Sunday. We went to church, and the some of the people in church will pick you up to take you home to have dinner. Nice people. But then the people were real friendly towards the servicemen because they know they had to commit themselves to service. So they were extra nice to all the people in the service.
Did you ever train to avoid flak during?
Flag,
Yes.
uh, uh, when we were flying missions, we would never fly at the same altitude mission after mission. So you change your altitude. That's one defense. Then, of course, the fighter escorts was the primary escorts, the, uh, the fighter planes.
What did you think of the B-25's handling?
What did you think of the B-25 handling?
Handling,
Like, how did it handle?
that was the best plane in the Air Force to fly. Jimmy Doolittle will tell you that. Yeah, yeah.
When did you find out that you were going to be deployed to Italy?
Uh, all this is pre-planned. Uh, Air Force headquarters. They come down. They get orders from. We saw the pilots. We saw the planes, and we saw the crews. And they assigned us to different planes, to different squadrons, to different places, and you didn't have a choice in that.
And how did you feel when you got assigned to the European theater instead of the Pacific?
I would, well, I knew I was going overseas in combat, and I'd rather be in Europe where the people are more educated and we have more land than in the Pacific. There's nothing but water. So I was I was I was kind of lucky because I served in Italy, and those people are well educated in Italy. Everybody knows how to play the fiddle. Everybody knows how to play the accordion, and they were they didn't want this war. Mussolini brought the war on them. You remember Mussolini, huh? And they caught him in a Brenner Pass, and they brought him down to Milan, Italy. That's a big city in the Po Valley. And they strung him upside down with his mistress by him, and they were throwing rocks and bottles and just beat up his body. And you remember what date that was?
I don't remember what date that was.
April 28, 1945. That's a clear date in my head. I can remember that 1945. That happened, that they caught Mussolini. And 2 months later, Hitler commits suicide. But you know what? He had his body burned to ashes because he didn't want anybody to do that to him.
Oh,
Yeah. And you know another thing, when you're in the service, you have to have a lot of love and support. And my family gave that to me, mom, dad, brother, sister. I used to get 2 or 3 letters a week from them, and they expected me to write 1 or 2 weeks. But guess what? I got my wings, and I was a big shot. I was chasing women and drinking, and I forgot to write home. And guess what? I get a telegram from my sister, and she says, Jack, what's wrong? Mom and Dad are worried about you. I was only thinking about myself. I forgot all the people that really mattered, that loved me. That taught me a big lesson. you don't forget the people that love you. So that was something my little sister taught me, that big lesson. Yeah, yeah.
That's a very powerful lesson, sir.
Oh, yes, indeed, it's a powerful lesson. You live with that for the rest of your life.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Uh, the first time I got in an airplane in Caserta, Italy, I flew over the Adriatic north, and guess what I saw? The city built in the ocean. That was Venice. That was a sight for eyes. I wish everybody could have seen it. Seeing it from the air is different from paddling around in the canals, you know. So that will remain in my memory all these years too. Uh, we used to run. Uh, the Germans were trading Italy, and we were bombing the bridges over the Po River so they couldn't retreat and we could capture them. So a squadron went out to blow up this bridge. we the next day we took inspection. All the bombs missed the bridge. We had to go back again. You didn't have these accurate missiles. You had to press a button at you're 2 miles up in the air, you're 10, 12,000 feet, and you drop the bombs and you hope we had the Norton bomb sight, but it doesn't, it's not 100% perfect. And it was a help, but we missed the bridge.
I'd like to ask, how did you get to Italy first?
How's that?
How did you get to Italy?
We left uh, 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 by military transport, and it was in February 1945 that we went over to Italy, and we caught this troop transport, and and we went over there on this troop transport. Oh, maybe 6,000 troops on Air Force, Army, everything. And we crossed the Atlantic and landed over Naples, Italy. And we hit a storm. And the troop transport was by itself. We didn't have any escorts. We felt safe with the air. With all this, we cleaned it up. There's no more submarines or anything, so we felt safe going over there that early in the war, and we made it over to Naples, Italy.
Was the transport very crowded?
Oh, 13 men to a little room. Their bunks 5 high. Yeah, yeah.
Wow. And how long did the voyage take?
The what?
How long did the voyage take?
It took 10 days. We hit the storm in the middle of the Atlantic, and we had to detour. We had to get out to weather the storm, and it took us an extra 2 days to get out the storm and get back on the track.
And what were your first impressions of Italy when you arrived?
Uh, well, the impression I got, Louis, was all the destruction, lots of destruction, empty buildings, debris laying all around from the war. Yeah,
So,
yeah.
and from Naples, where did you go?
To Caserta, Naples it was a replacement depot, and you went there and you departed there. So from Naples to Caserta, we were assigned to this 321st Bomb Group in Caserta, Italy. And from there, we flew our our missions. We had 4 squadrons. So it was an Italian air base before the war, and we came back, fixed it up for the United States Air Force to operate out of that Caserta. And there was a port of embarkation close by, so we could transport food and ammunition and everything through this port close to the air base. So it was well planned. That comes from the high command.
And what did you think of the base? What could you describe it to me a bit? How it looked like?
The base,
Yes.
uh, the base, well, it converted to a military air base, and uh, they had hangars and they had mess halls. They had the typical military air base there, and they had a dispensary for anybody got sick or wounded or something. But uh, it and they tried to keep us busy and entertained. They gave us time off in the evening when we didn't have duty, and we caught a bus or a jeep into a town and maybe had dinner at one of the Italian cafes. But I never did. I never did learn how to speak Italian. No,
Hmm. And
the only thing I knew is quanta cost. That means how much.
and when you arrived, did you know that the war was coming to an end?
Yeah, the war was coming to an end. I went over there as a replacement pilot because you flew 25 missions, you came back to the United States. And another thing I like about flying too, you got 50% more pay than a uh, than a regular officer. If an officer was making $100 a month, I was making 150. So guess what? I had a little bit more money to spend.
Oh,
Each mission, you see a little bit different parts of the country. We flew missions. Oh, we had a supply depot in North Africa, and we used to go down there, pick up supplies, ammunition, food, cigarettes, and liquor. And we had an officers club that tried to entertain and keep the officers busy. And that's what I like about when I got my commissions. I could live at the officers club.
did you tell me about your first mission and what it was like?
Oh, you have all kind of thoughts going through your mind. All your takeoff formations, everything is routine, but you always wonder what lies ahead. Uh, the countryside changes. The Hitler is very hilly, and all that looks in your eye, and you come upon the time that you have to drop your bombs and go back home. And it was relief when we dropped the bombs and we headed back home. It said we made another one. Yeah.
And
And
how big were the formations that you were flying in? How many bombers were you
uh,
flying with?
there were 16,
16.
16 in a formation.
I see. And was it difficult? Could you describe to me how you get together into formation?
Oh yeah, yeah. You take off and you circle the field until everybody's in the formation. But you circle the field and you got a direction with it. Was it 48 or 90 degrees on your compass? And you communicate with the other planes, and this is the directions you head into. And and that was you do it once or twice and it becomes routine. But the first time you wonder how's it going to turn out.
And did you ever encounter enemy fighters?
No, no. We tell you a story too. We was in the mess hall in Italy, and some of the guys came back from a mission, and they said, "Guess what? We saw an airplane with no propellers." And we all looked at him, said, "You're nuts." That was the first planes Germany had, the Messerschmitts. So that's how I found out about planes with no propellers.
And what did everybody think when they heard that there were these new jet planes?
Uh, they said, yeah, they were fast and they were better than our planes were. And we had to do something about that. So, so our targets were sometimes we would raid their air base where they kept these jets and bomb them. Hope we destroy them.
And how was it flying above the Italian countryside? Was it very beautiful?
Yeah, yeah. But there's also a lot of destruction too.
Hmm. And could you describe to me what it's like before a mission? Maybe waking up in the morning. Um,
Uh, well, you go to bed and they tell you, well, we got a mission to fly tomorrow. Well, you fly every day. It's nothing new. But when you get up in the morning, you go to a briefing, and they brief you on everything, the weather, the resistance, the the conditions of everything that they can, and that helps you plan your flight and your mission, knowing uh, uh, knowing all these things. They give you the altitude you're going to fly at, the airspeed you're going to fly at, and they give you all the instructions about how you how you going to how you going to approach the target and all that. So uh, it you fly an airplane and they tell you go to 12,000 feet, reduce your speed to 170 knots. You do that automatically, you know. So those were the, but the service you had to be there. You had to do your duty. Period.
and how did the B-25 compare with the B-26 or the A-20 uh,
Uh,
bombers?
well, you had two engines, you had two tails, and you had it. It seemed to be the people the plane that everybody liked because the B-25 was produced more than the A-20, the A-26, than all the other twin engine bombers. The B-25 was produced. They experimented with the 25, putting a cannon in the nose to sink ships, but the cannon was too powerful for the boat for the aircraft. the back, the uh, the discharge and the repercussion from the shoot. So but they tried it. That's one good thing. Yeah.
What was it like living on the base?
What was it like living on the base?
Oh, it 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 was uh, normal. It was friendly. It was uh, uh, you adjusted to those things, and from the day to day, things will not affect you. That you you're there. You do what you have to do, and you want to come home. The biggest thing, you want to come home. So that's about my story. Uh, there's another thing. We flew the B-25s back to the United States, and we flew it from Italy to North Africa, around North Africa to the Ascension Islands, and from there to Natal, Brazil, and then to the Caribbean and to Florida. It took because we couldn't. The range of a B-25 is limited to about 500 miles, 600 miles, and you have to plan what base you're going to stop at, refuel, eat, and take off the next day. But that was something to come around, fly over the Atlantic, and you're over the Atlantic, and Lewis says a point of no return that you think about those things. You're flying on a mission, and you have to get to the air base, and it's so far, and you can't. You spend so much fuel flying to this place, you can't have enough to get back. So you had to make the trip, the point of no return. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. And can you tell me a bit more about that journey? Was it just constant flying day after day? Um,
Uh, oh no, the biggest thing was we wanted to get home. Yeah.
When you found out that the war ended, like how did you feel? Celebrations going on.
We said, let's have another drink. we they at the officers club we had all the cigarettes and the liquor you wanted. It's a wonderful thing we did. We wasn't loaded. So but it was nice, but everybody would celebrate. They want to have enough drinks to make them happy. Yeah.
that's great. And did you interact often with the Italian civilians?
Uh, we uh, we we went into town and we went to cafes. Uh, we went to Palladium, different shows and musicals. Like I say, they play everything over there, and we enjoyed that. But I never did get to really meet and 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 go out with any Italians. We had to be on our air base back at the base. We never could leave overnight. We had to check in.
And when the war ended, did you have any German planes surrender to your airfield?
Did you have any German airplanes surrender at your base where you were at?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. We had a German plane come in and surrender. Yeah, yeah. And guess what? Everybody wanted to look at it. Everyone wanted to see it. Yeah, yeah.
And Did they come in after the war had ended?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I see.
Oh, we had some, one or two that came in and surrendered before the war ended. They knew it was up, and they wanted to give up. Give up rather than get shot down.
And did he ever get to speak with any of the German pilots or
No,
see them at
no,
all?
no, no.
No.
Uh, the the post security, they grabbed these pilots right away to put them to uh, put them to uh, getting information, any
Like an
information.
interrogation?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And what did you think of their planes?
What did you think of the German airplanes?
Oh, they were good. They were the best in the war.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. We were lucky to build these airplanes. To the good thing, our productions were 3 or 4 times of what the Germans could turn out. So numbers counted.
Did you have any lucky routines or any things that you brought on with you in your flights, um, just for good luck?
But
Did you ever have like anything when you would go flying for missions, like a good luck charm?
no, no. And that's another good thing too, because they always thought about security, and you had to be dressed in your uniform without any other things that might be useful to the enemy.
And did you tell me after you returned home, uh, when did you, what did you do? Did you get discharged immediately? How did that?
No, we got home. We're gonna retrain and go over to Japan, because Japan they lasted another half a year, and and uh, and Japan surrendered. You remember what year that was?
1945, August 2nd.
47. Yeah, and uh, Lewis, they brought MacArthur back home because he was ruling Italy and he wasn't following orders. So he retired, and MacArthur made a speech before Congress. And what MacArthur says, old soldiers never die, they just fade away. And the Air Force came up with a sign. Can you see that?
Yeah, look, you gotta bring it up a
Oh, I
little
see it.
bit.
I see it. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's Louis, that's just about my story. Yeah. I came back. I went to Soleil Business College, got a certificate in accounting. I was office manager for this manufacturing plant in New Orleans. Got married. I had this one daughter, and and that's and I was still in the reserve, so I still went to meetings once a month and 2 weeks a year for training.
When you came back to retrain, were you training to fly another type of bomber?
No, we were trained for support of the other the planes and the pilots that would have to make a landing at this base here. So the reserve was just a service uh, to provide anything that they need to continue their mission.
And when did you get discharged?
Oh, about 1955,
Oh, wow.
60. I have about 11 years between active and military.
I see. And So were you still active during the Korean War?
Oh yeah. I was no, I was I was in the reserve.
Okay.
The Vietnam War, I was in the reserve. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Um, and what did you think about the Korean War when it came around? Did you think that you might fly in it?
I was trying to avert that war. That I felt that we should do a better job trying to not to go to war.
Well, I'd like to ask, how did you meet your wife, and around when?
Oh, uh, I was living on Precious Place, and there's a family, Owens, who lived on the corner, and my wife came to visit them, and I met them just in the neighborhood, you know, the two families, the us and the Owens, yeah. So so anyway, that's the way I met my wife then.
Well, now I'd like to ask you some questions reflecting on your life. How would you describe your generation?
Well, everybody refers to us as the great generation. You hear that a lot, that this world is changed for the good because of the great generation. Louis, I still got hair. Yeah.
and
So, anyway, Louis,
how do you feel
that's
about the title of Greatest Generation?
oh, I thought it was appropriate because we did the job. We did the job and we did the job right. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm curious, have you ever read the book Catch 22?
No, but I heard of it. I heard of it. Yeah. Yeah.
It's a okay.
Yeah.
It's about some pilots that flew in Italy, so I was just curious.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I'd like to ask, what does the American flag mean to you?
It, it means the individual has his freedom to think, go where he wants to, do what he wants to. And in some of these countries, you don't have that, but you have so much more here in the United States that there's no comparison to the people that live in South America. Still got people that are dictators down there, you know. So so
What do you think of the state of the world today?
I think it's all screwed up. that that Ukraine, that over there, Ukraine, the Israel and the Hamas, you know, they know that they're not going to get anywhere, and what they're doing is destroying their countries. They're destroying. Took them years to build a building, and 2 minutes they blow it up. It's down on the ground. So those things you got to do a better job than not than letting the war go on. But it's wrong for Mars to go over to Israel, capture 200 people, bring them back, make them prisoners for what? For swapping things for the war, you know. That was wrong, and Israel knew it. We all knew that, you know. But but and the president's going to meet Putin trying to end that war in Ukraine too. Another thing, yeah.
I'd like to ask, what gives you hope about the world today?
What gives you hope about the world today?
today.
Mhm.
And I pray for the younger generation to make it a safer world, to make it an educated world, the people to know and do things. They can do so much uh, more scientific science and all the other things they do. They should be mindful of all the things that we still can do, but the world today should look forward to being a safer world.
That's good, very good. I'd like to.
Okay, Louis?
I've got one last question for you, sir. What advice would you give to my generation and future generations?
First of all, your education. You got to get your education. You learn a lot of things. Then respect for one another. Your respect for for the uh, the the Italians, from the English, from the Spanish, from the respect for each one, respect for each country in this world, and we hope that in trading we fair in trading, and that's about it, though. But that education, Lewis, is a good thing. Yeah.
Well, Mr. Emerson, I thank you so much for having taken the time to speak with me, sir, and
Okay.
deeply for your service.
Yeah.
Really.
The other uh, the other day I had an interview, and I got my picture on the front page.
You raise it up a little bit. Right there.
That's wonderful.
The news on the front page of the newspaper.
Well, you definitely deserve that and much more
Thank
recognition.
you. Okay, Lewis says, thank you, buddy.
It's been a real honor to meet you, sir. So thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you, buddy. Thank you. Good talking to you. Here, Lewis.
Likewise, sir. And I thank you for the great advice
Okay.
and for your amazing story.